Hi guys, so join me here today and believe it or not, I'm going to do a winter roundup. Spring's definitely on its way, sun's out and it's lovely. All joking aside, I think it has been pretty nice back home this week, to be fair. Cooled down a bit now, but winter's definitely out of the way. Spring is here and summer's just round the corner. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to talk you through some highlights of my winter, how I got on in league, how I did in some qualifiers, and what I've got coming up for the rest of the year basically, and obviously what you can expect on the YouTube channel. So starting off with the winter roundup. I had a lovely winter, to be fair, and those of you that followed the live matches will obviously know that I've done pretty well, pretty consistent, and I've had some great results, to be honest with you. The league overall went quite well. I did really consistent, as I've said. I've had a couple of ones, 3 2s and a 3 as a dropper. So the way that the league worked, originally it was over 8 rounds with 5 counting, but we had a snow day unfortunately, and obviously with the travel down from Scotland and all over the place to fish these leagues, so we had to cancel that one, and it ended up being 7 rounds with 5 counting, so you had 2 droppers. Like I said, a dropper is a 2 and a 3, and they're usually 5 or 6 peg sections, so pretty happy with that, quite consistent. And a couple of matches that stood out for me while I was up at the Oaks this winter. So I've had one, probably my best day that was up there. I had 40 pound of roach off peg 9 on willows, and unfortunately I didn't even film that day because I'd been on it the previous week. I think I was second on the match, and I thought, oh, I won't film it because it'll just be too similar with it being the same peg. But unfortunately I won the match, like I say, 40 pound of roach, lovely days fishing, and a bit gutted I didn't film it, to be honest, but I can't film all of them every time I go because you get nothing else, and I know they have been a little bit prolonged. We've only got one left to go and then that's it, we're on to some nice, better stuff. So like I say, yeah, I've had my 40 pound of roach, caught them mainly to island to left in front of me, few down edge, few short, and just rotated lines, and they're all decent stamped fish as well, so really nice days fishing that was. Another highlight was early on in the year, I think it was one of the first matches up there. I've had 50 odd pound of hide, and obviously lovely shallow fishing, going out, spraying some maggots in, laying your rig in, wallop under. That's like, I love the early season fishing on there, early winter, bite a chuck. Got to do it half right to catch them, but once you get it right and the feeding right, they just stand themselves. So I've had a right nice time there. 2 probably favourite matches that I've fished. I've had a few other matches. I've drawn on furs quite a lot, and furs is one of them. It doesn't really suit my style of fishing. I like to be active, firing bait in, catching a few fish here and there. But on furs it's more like quite a lot of skimmers, so you're putting little bits of bait in and sat waiting a bit longer for bites. But it's one of them. I've done all right on there, to be fair. Though one match, I think I had like Denty, Milky, Andy Barker, who actually won the league, on next to me, and then me, and it was a really hard day. We had snow, sleet, strong weather, strong winds and everything, and wind up there doesn't normally affect it, so when there's wind on it, you know it's strong. And I managed to come second in my section that day, but if you'd have offered me second in section before we started, I'd have taken it, obviously. I think Denty had 5.5 pound, Milky had 5 something, I've had 6 something, and then Andy Barker just beat me by a few ounces. So really good angling. Then there was another guy further around, I don't think he actually weighed in, but it was one of them, really difficult. Maybe I could have had a few more ounces to get that extra point, but like I say, if you'd have offered me second on day, I'd have taken it. So there were some hard matches in there, but I think I fished quite well and been consistent. So yeah, that's the Winter League roundup. So I ended up 5th, last in the money. So I just managed to scrape them place. I think there's, I don't know, 30 odd anglers that fish it, so quite nice. And like I say, I'm well rewarded because I was quite consistent all the way through. Adam Richards ended up winning it. No, Andy Barker ended up winning it. Adam Richards second, and then I think Adam Woody was 3rd, Adam 4th, my Adam was 4th, and I was 5th. So it's quite nice. So obviously in between the league matches I did fish a lot of opens and midweeks. Obviously I work 4 days a week, so I've had every Wednesday off throughout the winter. I get to pick and choose my day off, which is really good of work. But I've had every Wednesday off throughout the winter, and I've gone on the open matches. Obviously I've done really well up there and I've been pretty consistent. I've had a couple of firsts, a couple of seconds and countless amount of thirds, to be honest. as well as fourths and fifths. I've done a lot of I think I've framed more times than what I've not, so I've been really consistent, really happy with my results. And it's just one of them, it got to be a bit of a running joke at one point because I was third in quite a few matches running, and it just felt like it was never going to come. I kept on trying, changing little bits, tweaking it, and I'd always up my weight and do a little bit better, but it just felt like them top spots were just out of reach. And then it all clicked, something changed, drew a couple of better pegs or did whatever, and I managed to start winning a few, so I was really happy with my performance towards the end of the year. And hopefully when I go back next year and start again, I've got a good starting point. I've obviously made notes of what I do on what pegs and stuff, so it's a really good tip. If it's somewhere you go often, I now look at my phone and remember when I fished this peg, I fished here and here and this is what I caught. It's a good starting point. Not saying it's going to happen every time, because like I've told you about peg 9 on willows, I went there with a conception in my head of what I was going to do, but you've got to be able to change. You can't just sit there and think, well, I caught like this last time, because fishing is never the same. You can go at the same peg a few days running and it'll change every time. But if you've got a good idea of where the fish like to hold, what size fish you're fishing for, anything like that, it's a good starting point. Keep notes. It definitely helped me this winter, and I'm hoping when I go back next winter it'll be the same again, so you're already ahead. You can see some lovely photos of fish that we caught this winter, and a right lovely time, to be honest with you, and you can see quality bags of fish. As I've said, Alders is mainly eyed, big eyed, with some roach in it. Odd skimmers as well have shown in there this year. Furs mainly skimmers, to be honest, with some eyed and roach. Oak, I'd say mainly roach and the odd eyed and skimmers. And then willows changed a little bit towards the end of the year because we restocked some skimmers in it, but it's predominantly roach, odd skimmers to be caught as well, and odd big perch. In between that, I've done some qualifiers. So I've done the golden rod at Lindholm, which was on Benny's Lake, and I was second on that in the zone. So lovely days fishing, to be honest. Nice, just caught on a little method feed. I think I had a dozen or so fish. Didn't manage to film that one because rod fishing is a bit boring to film, I think. You've got to sit and wait for bites, and you never know when they're going to come. So I didn't film that one, but like I say, I had a nice day's fishing, just chucking out, using micros and a 6mm hard pellet, and I had, like I say, 13 fish. I can't remember what weight I had, 40 odd, 50 pound, no, 30 odd pound I think. I think 50 odd pound wood section, so just missed out, sort of. I needed some more fish. I was second. I wasn't miles away, but I wasn't ever going to qualify. So another qualifier that I've fished is, I was also at Lindholm on the silverfish, and this time I've drawn on Benny's Lake, no, not Benny's, Beach's Lake, peg 5, and to be honest, I've had a lovely day's fishing. Had a great battle with Kerry Kirkwood on next peg, and unfortunately he just picked me by a pound. I've had loads of eyed up the bank, some F1s short, fish all over, to be honest with you. And it's one of them that it was nip and tuck. I knew I had more F1s, but he had more eyed. And to be fair, it was a right close battle. He's fished an awesome match. And he's ended up beating me by one pound to qualify. So I just missed out there. I was second, bit gutted, but we move on to the next ones. And then the next qualifier that I fished was at the Oaks, and that was another silverfish qualifier. This time I've drawn on peg 2 on Oak, so I'd not actually fished that peg before. Another windy day, and to be honest, I've had a lovely day's fishing. I've had 30 pound of roach, and I've caught mainly shallow up to the island, so 16 metres shallow to the island, getting nice roach. I've had a few down edge, few short, and just, like I say, rotating lines, caught load of fish, and loved it, to be honest. Unfortunately, if it were how it normally went, so normally if the split sections at the Oaks, you've got willows and oak in together and fir and alders in together. But for some reason this time, oak was in with alders and fir was in with willows. So it was one of them where you couldn't really do much else. We was in with alders. Alders usually dominates because the fish are a lot bigger size in there than what they are in oak. And if it had been the other way around and I was in with willows, I'd have qualified. But that's how it goes. So I didn't end up qualifying. I won my lake, won my little mini section, but that was about it. So yeah, I've had a few close calls on the qualifiers this winter, and I don't think it'll be long, hopefully, before I manage to make one of them finals. But we just keep going and enjoying it. So moving on to that, that's sort of my winter roundup. We've had obviously the Winter League, I've had a few silverfish matches, and what have we got to come? So as you can see, we're on holiday now, it's nice and warm, it's warming up and it's warming up back home. So you'll be pleased to know I have only got one live match left from the silverfish matches. Sorry about putting so many on, guys, but if I wouldn't have been able to put them on, then you probably wouldn't have had any content, because it's been dark, long nights, obviously winter drags on and it's hard working full time getting out. If I want to do my own fishing on the weekend, you've got to come with me, otherwise you don't get to see me. Simple as that. But now, like I say, we've got lighter nights, I've managed to get away, been to Westwood, so I've got a few lined up from Westwood, which has been really nice to get out and obviously do some there, a bit different, been on a few different lakes, a few different tactics. So you've got a bit of content there for you, something to look forward to. And then obviously when we get back off holiday, lots have changed and I can get out on an evening and do it just a few hours on the canal, and obviously when season opens I'll be back down on rivers doing a few more. I right enjoy them sessions, to be honest, so got something to look forward to. And then we're away in France as well, so I've got a big carp fishing trip in France with quite a few lasses. That'll be really something to look forward to. Hopefully I'll be able to get some content there, put something together and show some big fish. I'm hoping for a PB or two along the way. Obviously Adam will be there, a few at lasses will be there, and we're just going to have a barbecue, a get together, a right good time with friends. So I'll film some of that, I think. And then I'll probably do question and answers as well. Let me know if you're interested in all like that. And I will put a little video out before just to let you know I'm going to do one. But I thought, while we're out in France waiting for them big fish to come along, I might as well sit down, do a video and answer some questions that some people keep asking. If I get similar ones or if there's aught that you want to ask, just drop it in and I will get round to answering them. So apart from that, I think that's about it. That's the whole winter in one video. Hope you've enjoyed it. Obviously I've had quite a few live matches, like I said. I will be continuing live matches, but there's just no silverfish ones from the Oaks for a while, until next year anyway, and then it'll be the same again possibly, depending on how much content I get filmed in between. So thanks a lot, guys, thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and I'll see you at next one. Cheers.